Oh man, that was a good run. Didn't even break a sweat. Stop right there. Whoa, this is unexpected. In my own house? What's going on here? Give me your stuff. Give me all of your stuff. I mean, you probably could have just like taken my stuff and like walked out. Like, were you serious? I mean, kind of, you know, I'm holding a knife up to you and stuff. I mean, yeah, if that's what you want to call it. Okay, like, it does the job. It's a nice knife. What's that? Oh, here, let me check it out. Wait a minute. Alright, y'all, welcome back to Come at Arms channel. Okay, today we're doing another gear review, and today we're checking out the Phlster Enigma. Now, this is a very cool holster system. So what we actually have here is their Enigma Express. So basically shipped, assembled as you would need it. And this is set up for my Glock 43X. Now, it's actually got a shell for a Glock 48, which I'll talk about a little bit later as to kind of why it's set up that way. And then this is also their sports belt, which you can get separately. And I gotta say, this is an awesome combination. I'll kind of break down both of these individually, but yeah, it's a very, very nice holster system. Now, the reason why I was clued in on this holster is my buddy was actually thinking about getting the Enigma for his P365. So I was like, that looks like a pretty cool idea. So if you get it, definitely let me know. So he did end up getting it. It looked super comfortable. He said it was comfortable and it concealed very, very nicely. I mean, he was wearing very casual attire, shorts, you know, standard shirt and whatnot. And yeah, it was, I mean, there was pretty much no printing or anything. It looked like a solid holster system. And for something like that, something that you can use to kind of have like this own standalone where it adds comfort, it adds versatility as far as what you can actually use it with. And again, you kind of rule out other things that you need to consider, whether it be, you know, your shirt, your pants, the waist, the belt. There's a lot of things that kind of factor in when you're kind of talking about a traditional appendix carry inside the waistband. And generally speaking, you need a little bit more to kind of work for you. But with this, everything is kind of self-contained. And I gotta say, it works super, super well. So once I was able to kind of check it out a little bit, I asked the awesome folk over at Phlster if they could hook it up with one of the Enigmas. And they agreed. They're like, yeah, we can send it to you. We'll send the sport belts as well. And then we'll also send the wedge kit. And I'll kind of talk about all of those in this one video. But I was like, awesome. And they also provided a lot of really interesting kind of insights as to how to more comfortably use the Enigma. And I'll kind of talk about those principles a little bit later. But yeah, they were super helpful. They sent this out. And yeah, now we can do some testing with it. I've already done a pretty decent amount of testing with it. And I gotta say, it's easily the most comfortable holster that I've ever used. Because again, everything is kind of self-contained. If there's any adjustments, you can kind of do it all within this one system. You can use it with anything. You kind of saw with my intro there. I mean, if you want, you could, you know, be completely naked and be able to conceal carry with, well, I guess it wouldn't be concealed carry, open carry at that point. If you're completely naked, you could still use this system kind of as a standalone to comfortably carry your pistol. Now, as far as the testing that I've done, I have gone running with it. I have used it as my everyday carry holster. I've done drills with it. And again, it's very, very comfortable. It works super well, especially with the sport belt and also the wedge kit. Yeah, it is a really, really cool system. So I'm definitely excited to do this review for y'all. But again, I have this set up for my Glock 43X. Now, as far as the shell being a Glock 48 shell, the reason why they recommended that is something that they call the Keel Principle, which basically means if you're concealed carrying, you want to take this belt line and basically equalize the mass on the bottom and the top. The reason for that is if you're generally concealed carrying and you have the holster that kind of ends like right here, you have all this weight on top with the magazine, the pistol grip, the kind of slide. A lot of that will kind of push forward and start printing against your shirt. So it would basically, as opposed to kind of resting flat like this, it starts pushing forward because you have all of that weight. You know, it's not necessarily equalized below the kind of belt line as well. So they recommended the Glock 48 shell so that equalizes the mass a little bit. And I gotta say, I was like a little bit skeptical. I was like, well, I don't want any more mass kind of below the belt line because it, you know, might make it more uncomfortable. But it makes it honestly a lot more comfortable because I'm not feeling the kind of firearm pushing as much on that belt line area. And again, I'm not seeing it print nearly as much. And that in combination with the wedge kit makes for a very, very effective and very comfortable carrying experience, which, I mean, if you can make it more comfortable and more convenient and just more effective in general, then yeah, I'm all for it. So I'm going to kind of break everything down as far as like the sports belts, the Enigma itself, and then talk about the wedge kits a little bit. So again, I have done a little bit of testing as far as like, I ran a mile. All right, so we're going to do a mile with the Enigma and some silkies. So yeah, feels pretty comfortable. Let's see how it feels after a mile of running though. So let's do it. We got some competition. So far so good. One more lap.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
Ooh, all right.
Daddy, that was so cool.
Okay. Mile in 7:20. Not bad. I didn't feel it really that much.
I went faster than you.
I know, you're a good pacer. Yeah, I think I felt it like pretty much as much as my watch. Yeah, super comfortable. So this is Lock 43X with the sports belt as well. Yeah, pretty comfortable. And if you had a lighter, smaller pistol, then you really wouldn't feel it. I've never ran with a concealed carry gun before, unless I have like a fanny pack with like a really small kind of like pocket pistol, like my LCP2. That was the only time that I've ever run with a gun. And I gotta say, I was focusing more on my run than I was just the product test itself. That's because it was that comfortable. And again, with the sport belt, everything, the surface area that you add with the sport belt in combination with the elasticity, it was just super comfortable. You know, again, I didn't feel the holster kind of pushing forward, the weapon kind of pushing forward. It was very tight, but it wasn't too tight. It didn't restrict any of my range of motion at all. Even with the leg leash, I didn't feel that at all. Again, I was feeling my shorts more than I was feeling the holster, to be honest. So I gotta say, it worked super well for those purposes. Now again, I'll kind of break it down, talking about the sports belt first. So the whole sport belt itself is elastic, so you can see there, it's got some stretch. So if you're kind of doing any movements, if you're running, it really does move with you and kind of conform with your body a lot better, and didn't create any hot spots that I noticed at all. So it's got these two pass-through pockets. So if you got like a pocket knife or what have you, you can chuck that in. And again, if it's a little bit longer, if it extends a little bit past, that's good because you have that pass-through pockets. Now, this is kind of an extreme example here, but you can also put a flashlight. And again, because it is pass-through, yeah, you're not kind of limited to it kind of falling out. It's not necessarily going to be pushing stuff out. And I think depending on the size of the sport belt you get, because I have a petite frame, I think depending on the size of the sport belt will determine how many pockets you get in the center, because I looked on the websites and it's got the 2 pockets, but I think that's for a slightly longer sports belt. So realistically, you wouldn't be able to fit a whole lot if you kind of split this center part up into 2 pockets. So you have this non-pass-through pockets. If you want to put something like wallets or cash or what have you, you can kind of use that. So for my wallets, I wouldn't necessarily trust it. So I guess depending on the size of your wallets, if you're like a high roller or something, I don't know, it might make it a little bit more feasible to have your wallet in the center. But for me, I probably wouldn't use it. And again, they're not going to make that a pass through, because if you have valuable stuff, you obviously don't want it falling out the bottom. So yeah, as far as the elasticity, works great. The pockets themselves work great. Again, having a knife, having a flashlight is pretty cool as well, especially if you're going on a run, especially at night. It's nice to have kind of some backup or some illumination. And then the sport belt itself, you can attach just like normal. The original Enigma kind of comes with just the strap. So you can get the sport belt and it basically replaces that strap. Everything else works exactly the same as far as the hardware is concerned. And of course, the straps are completely adjustable. So if you want to make it a little bit tighter, that's kind of how you would do it. And you can kind of just fix it with these metal buckles here. Now, the main hardware for attaching it is this really cool magnetic, what do they call it? So it's called a fidlock, which is pretty interesting. I've never heard about that, but it's basically a magnetic system that allows you to attach it very securely, very easily. So basically all you have to do is take this end of the buckle, match them up and kind of hook it, and then you're good to go. So as far as that's tugging out, you're totally good. So in order to actually release this magnetic buckle, you just need to grab that pull tab and then pull it forward and kind of in a little bit, and you can unhook it. So I gotta say, it's a really, really comfortable, very, very easy, and also very secure system. So the fact that they kind of included this makes it very easy to just put this thing on and off. You don't have to worry about, you know, feeding straps through. So as long as you size it and you generally keep it the same size, unless, you know, depending on what you're wearing it on top of, I guess. Unless you're like growing out your dad bod, like I'm kind of starting to, I've been flexing the whole time, then this is going to be perfect because it's going to be sized for you. It's going to be sized pretty much exactly. You need it every time. And then all you need to do is put this around your waist and then snap that in place and you're good to go. Very snug, again, very secure. You can't just twist this off. It's all about that pull tab, and then you can release it. So very easy to take it off, very easy to put it on, and again, it is very secure. Now here you have the leg leash. So basically, once this is on, this will be around your waist, and the leg leash will kind of feed down. I'll kind of show you guys a little bit later. This will feed down and go around your thigh. Of course, the purpose for that is when you draw, you don't want the entire belt or holster kind of, you know, pushing up. If it's snug enough, like mine's pretty much snug enough that it's still going to draw effectively with having effective retention. This just, again, ensures that you're not just going to kind of pull the belt up to your chest and then, you know, not be able to get your pistol out. So it just keeps it right where you need it to. And again, this is very comfortable as well. I didn't notice this at all. The only thing I noticed was the end of the leg leash is a little bit pointed. Now you can trim this down. You can just cut it and then kind of burn it with the lighter. It's kind of what they recommend. And you can just round those edges out and you're not going to have to worry about that. But once this is on, again, you just kind of loop it around and I'll show you a little bit closer up. And then you just attach that little snap buckle there. And then that's basically how it would be set up. And again, it works great, very comfortable. This is nice and minimalistic. You don't really need this to be thick, so you're not feeling as much restriction, as much heat retention. Again, just very well thought out. The construction of the kind of mounting platform itself, very lightweight, very durable. If you kind of have like a bunch of tactical gear, you'll see, I don't know what this actual material is called. I tried finding it. But you'll see this a lot in a lot of tactical gear nowadays, whether it be tactical belts or what have you, helmet setups. It's very lightweight, very durable, and I think it's perfect for this. And again, you can kind of see it makes it a little bit easier to kind of make it more versatile for you, and at the same time, lightweight, breathable, and you're not going to be kind of feeling it rubbing against you or anything crazy. And then you have the holster shell. So there are a variety of holster shells that you guys can actually get. So if you guys have more of like an obscure handgun, if Phlster doesn't have the actual shell for it, there are a few other companies you can just get the shell ordered for the Enigma. But this one, again, it was the Enigma Express, so they were able to ship it with the shell attached, already assembled. And yeah, again, it works great. Now, just next to the shell, you have what they call the EMOD wing insert, which just allows you to kind of customize the angle for you. So as far as how it's going to be sitting when you're gripping or you're drawing the gun itself, this kind of changes the angle slightly. Again, kind of makes it more customized, more personalized to you. So when you draw, it's like a very comfortable angle. And again, just depending on how you're kind of wearing it, makes it very streamlined, makes it very easy to kind of customize that because you can change it out. So as far as the actual wedge kit, this comes in a bunch of different parts, a bunch of different shapes and sizes, and I'll kind of put like a little video overlay there. But the way that mine is set up, all you have to do is get the Velcro that's included. You throw that on, you can kind of cut it to your holster, kind of like I did there. And then you can just get the double-sided Velcro. So that's kind of the patch right there. You just attach that. Very solid adhesive, works super well. Now, I'm not sure if they have a proprietary name for what these are called, but I'm just gonna call them wedge bits. So basically, you get the Velcro there, you get the double-sided Velcro, and then you can just attach all those wedge bits to make it very comfortable depending on how you want it. If it's pinching or if it's adding too much pressure in certain areas, you can take one off, you can kind of rotate it, You can get one that's smaller, one that's bigger. So again, it just adds a little bit more comfort with that cushion, with the versatility to kind of change up the surface area as you need it. And then again, makes it a little bit more effective for actually carrying because you're not going to be printing as much. Now, as far as using this, again, it's very customizable. So my draws are very clean. Again, really depending on kind of what I'm wearing. If I'm wearing like silkies, kind of like I was in that intro, still very easy to draw. Depending on how your clothes are actually sitting, you can kind of cover up the grip a little bit more or kind of cover up the grip a little bit less. But for me, I kind of have it generally like the waistline will be kind of right below the grip. So I have a little bit of space still to draw it. And once I do that, the draw is very, very consistent. Again, with that E-Mod wing insert, with the wedge kits, it's very consistent. It's not going to change. You know, if I have jeans, it's not going to change now that I'm wearing, you know, shorts that don't have as much of a, you know, sturdy belt line or kind of waistline. Even if I have like a really strong, like I normally use the core belt. Before that, I had like a very thick full grain leather belt. So very sturdy belt, but even still, depending on kind of what you're wearing, even where the belt loops are, it can kind of change things up a little bit, which, you know, is not ideal. And again, it's just you're adding a lot more factors in play when you have all this stuff to consider: the material, the, you know, where the belt loops are, the belt you're using. This makes it very consistent to find that gun, draw it pretty much the same every single time. And again, if you need to adjust something, you know, again, you're kind of getting a little bit heavier or you're losing some weight, you can just adjust this very, very easily, as opposed to, you know, trying to find like a whole new setup or get a new belt or what have you. Your concealed carry setup is going to be kind of all self-contained to allow you to kind of adjust it when you need it. And I'll just kind of give you guys a demo of how I would put this sucker on. So again, just throw it around your waist. This might be a little bit tighter because I'm actually wearing like multiple layers of clothes, but just attach the buckle. Again, super easy. Take your leg leash, throw it around, kind of get it nice and high and tight, kind of like a tourniquet, I guess. I don't know, except it shouldn't be that tight. And then, yeah, just like that, I get my Glock. And then just like that. So again, I can pretty much take whatever I want. I can take jeans, I can take shorts. I can just pull those up, put it over the system itself, put the waistline pretty much where I want. Again, it's generally going to be kind of at this level for me. And then draws are going to be very repeatable. If I want to have this sit a little bit lower, I can adjust it like that. If I want a little bit higher, I can do that. And again, this is just a shirt I threw on, so you don't even need to like think about what you're wearing. So again, you wouldn't really see the strap because it would be under the shorts itself. But again, it's very comfortable, very consistent. Kind of flashing my tramp stamp there, but that's all right. And then, yeah, it's, man, I gotta say, it's such a nice holster. And as long as you do drills and practice, again, that draw, you'll find what's comfortable and how to get it sitting where you need it to, so you can get those consistent draws. And again, this system just works the best out of any holster that I've used to make it very personalized, very, very, very comfortable. I gotta say, it's easily the most comfortable holster I've ever used. I don't think I can go to another holster. As far as like appendix inside the waistband, like there's really no way. So in closing, if y'all are just trying to find a more comfortable or more versatile concealed carry setup, this is definitely the way to go. If you know somebody that is just trying to get into concealed carrying a little bit more consistently, but they're not necessarily doing it as much as they would like because of comforts, because it doesn't necessarily work with the clothes that they like to wear, this is a great solution for that. Again, it works with you, super comfortable, super versatile, works with all the clothes that you could think of. And yeah, it's just, for the price, I mean, you get a lot. This is literally the last kind of concealed carry holster setup you would ever need. Again, super versatile. You can use it when you're running, you can use it with a bunch of different clothes, and you're not going to be feeling any of those as long as you adjust it properly. And again, with this sport belt, like it really is a game changer. For my wife, for example, she didn't wear like belts too much. She didn't like to wear belts too much. And she would have to wear a belt a little bit more to conceal carry. And now that, we have the Enigma, it makes it a lot easier. You can just throw this on and wear whatever clothes you want. So yeah, it just makes it a lot easier. to kind of make a more versatile concealed carry setup. So if you guys are looking for a good system, I would definitely recommend this one. And again, I might be a little bit biased because they did hook it up and send it to me at no cost to me. But now that I've used this, it's easily going to be the first holster system that I would recommend. Because again, if somebody's trying to get into concealed carrying, it just removes a lot of those logistical considerations they need to think about. You know, how is it going to work with the clothes I have now? I need to get a belt. What belt do I get? I don't like this belt. Now I need to change the belt. I don't like this holster. It's not necessarily that comfortable. What is a wedge? What is a wing? There's a lot of things that people need to consider, and it can get kind of overwhelming, but it just makes the transition into concealed carrying more consistently a lot easier. So definitely going to be my first recommendation. So if you guys are thinking about getting a new holster, or if you just you want something a little bit more comfortable, again, for me, comfort is the biggest thing, honestly. Super comfortable, and again, you can run a mile with it and kind of forget that it's there, which again, maybe it's not ideal for concealed carrying, but you know, the gun's still going to be there if you do need to use it. You're just not going to necessarily be thinking about it every single step you take, which is awesome. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any questions about the holster itself, definitely let me know. Of course, for all the awesome folk over at Phlster, thank you for hooking it up with this very cool setup. Yeah, very, very happy with it. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you guys have any other gear reviews that you want to see, if you want to see me using this in particular scenarios, let me know and I can try and facilitate that for you. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. That is it for this one. I'll see you all in the next one.